YouTube, do you want to get good at Spellbreak fast? Because if you do, I have a build that might help you out a bit. For this build, we're going to be running the Pyromancer class, and then we're going to be picking the talents Intelligent, Vigor, and Inspired. Intelligent is going to make your runes cooldown a little bit quicker. Managing your runes cooldown is one of the biggest things in Spellbreak, so this definitely helps out for new players. Vigor is just going to give you a little bit more health, which gives you a little bit more cushion with missing shots, and in fights you can take a little bit more damage and not have to worry as much. And then Inspired is going to allow you to do extra damage while your rune is not on cooldown, so this paired with Intelligent works really well together. And again, managing your runes cooldown is really important, so this kind of leans into forcing you to learn that. There's a bunch of other reasons why I picked this build that I talk about throughout the gameplay. I also show you how to play it at a little bit of a higher level, as well as show you a few other tips and tricks that don't even really have to do with this build. They just make you a better Spellbreak player. If you guys enjoy, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Twitch stream down in the description below. And if you can go above and beyond in supporting me, you can use my creator code APOSTLE in the Epic Games store while you're buying more gold. If you do this, a part of the proceeds will go to me, so I'd really appreciate it. Anyways, I hope you find this video helpful, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, let's go to Banehelm. Look at this spot. Just check it out. Look how big the fracture is here. And these floating rocks. This is so dope. I love Banehelm. Alright, so we're going to be looking for a toxic offhand. Lightning is actually a good secondary to run with fire, because fire has like a long projectile. Or it travels very slowly, whereas lightning travels quickly. So what's nice about having lightning offhand is that you can shoot people out of the air or at further distances a little bit easier. This is definitely a good replacement gauntlet for the toxic that we're looking for. But the reason I want to run toxic is basically for the dragon fire combination. It's really, really strong, which is the combination of toxic and fire. You can make like big explosions that do lots of damage, and I think just as a as someone who's new to the game, Dragonfire is like probably the most efficient damage combo. So if you learn it yourself, you'll kind of learn how to avoid it, which is always good. But if you're really struggling hitting people in the air, you can easily switch that out for a lightning. But I'm actually going to switch out this dash for a spring step. Personally, I like dash better, but with Pyromancer, you're going to want to be above people when you shoot, because if you're shooting down at somebody, if this is a person, right, and you shoot down and you miss, you can still hit them, because the Pyromancer's first ability actually increases AoE damage, and actually its fourth ability basically does the same thing, which is pretty simple. But again, if you're shooting down at somebody and you miss, you're gonna hit them easier from above them than you are to the side. Say if I miss over here, see, then I completely miss, but if I'm shooting down, it will still hit them. So that's why you want to run Spring Step, because Spring Step's gonna get you above people, which helps you with that AoE. There's our toxic that we want. Alright, so basically Dragonfire is going to do a lot of damage. You can create it a couple of different ways. One is with your flame wall. You can just slap it with toxic, and this green flame is going to do a lot more damage than the red flame. Another way you can do it, which is kind of the more conventional way to do it, is to actually throw your toxic cloud down and blow it up with fire. So you just throw the cloud and the fire at the same time, and it creates that dragon fire, which is going to tick 3 times. So it hits pretty hard if you can land it on people, and it's actually really strong in Dominion in particular, because everybody's fighting over points, but we're going to be trying to win a BR game with it. Shouldn't be too difficult, but we'll see how it goes. Where do we got to go for this zone? Oh, we got to go all the way down to Halcyon. So the reason that I picked Pyro for this build is because Pyro is basically like the simplest class in the game, I would say. Like I said, the first and the fourth abilities just increase your AoE. And then your third ability just increases the damage of your firewall. So it's basically 3 of your 4 abilities are just straight up damage increases. So you don't really have to work for them, where in other classes, your class skills, you have to work a little bit more to get benefit out of them. So basically, this is the easiest class I'd say to learn with. The Fire Gauntlet is also a really good gauntlet to learn with. It's kind of a staple in terms of learning the projectile speeds. Like, it's a good gauntlet to start on with learning how to aim your projectiles in Spellbreak. So this is a much more close range build than, say, like the lightning offhand would be, because fire is kind of like a rocket launcher, and then toxic is essentially a shotgun. So you don't really have a crazy amount of range or precision. I'm pinched here. We're in the second zone, so I'm gonna use my firefly. Fly out over here. So that ability right there is the only ability in on Pyromancer that you have to trigger on your own. There, you're low. Let's see, where'd this guy go? He's sniping at me. I can hear him. He's right there. Hit him with a nice dragon fire. Get above him with the fire and use my spring step there and just blew him up. I also feel like aiming is easier from above. I don't know if that's just me, but it's definitely a lot easier for me to shoot down at targets than it is for me to shoot up at them. So he's got frost and lightning, so those are two longer range gauntlets, so I kind of want to push him. He's teleporting away, which makes sense since he has longer range weapons. He wants to keep that distance. Hit him with the dragon fire, lots of damage. I'll blow him up with a little fireball. Nothing too crazy, not getting out of hand. And that's what's kind of nice about Pyro, is that you don't really have to do a crazy amount of extra. With a lot of other classes like Toxicologist or Tempest, there's like a lot to manage, and you have to learn your movement skills a lot more in depth than you have to with just a simple Firefly. Because Firefly, I mean, you could play around your firewall. Here, I'll try to show a little firewall play here. It seems like everybody's using teleport. That guy just got rebirthed. Everybody's got long range movement abilities. I'm going to use my Firefly just to catch up. I was going to try and use it in a fight, so now I can reuse it because my firewall's still here. Oh, that's not my firewall. That's unfortunate. I thought it was my firewall. I think one of those was mine, but I didn't want to keep testing. Not my favorite thing to be walking into fire. So this one's mine. So I can play around my firewall, manage the distance, make them come to me, make the shot a little bit easier. If you can get somebody to run towards you in a predictable movement, that's much easier than chasing them. There was another person back here, wasn't there? That's another thing, is Spring Step's good for scouting. If you saw there, I actually held down my sorcery, so my secondary ability, and it allows me to just float in the air for a second so I can look around, see what's going on. Grab this scroll. But that was an inspired scroll, so what inspired does is it makes you do increased damage while you have a rune charge. So see how my spring step is up right now, it's not on cooldown. I'll do increased damage if I can hit any of these shots. Whereas now, I'm just going to hit for the normal amount. Focus this guy. Careful there, buddy. You're standing in a firewall. Don't want to do that. Those hurt. Oh. You could see there, it was kind of hard to tell, but... Oh, well, I'm freezing right now. But he did a frost sorcery, and I threw my toxic cloud into it. And since he was in the area, the toxic cloud turned into this, like, mist, which freezes anybody that's in it, which is what happened to me just a second ago. Ow, that hurts. And there's a person right here. This is a bad spot. Just pot up, let them fight. Let them do their thing. I'll get you in a second. Let me get this other scroll. Do even more damage while I have a rune charge up. And I'm back. Would you like to play now? I don't think so. That's a difficult shot. Fall in the fracture? Nice. Don't even gotta hit him. Just straight into the fracture. Sometimes you don't have to do any damage to win fights, you know? That was the guy who domed me with the ice, too. Oh, you guys are both real low. You're low. And let's hit you with a little toxic slap. You're also low. This is working out pretty nicely. What do we have, 9 kills? Yeah, so this is some fun stuff. You definitely don't want to fall in the fracture like that guy did. But what is cool is you see these little like glowy spots of the fracture. If you hit those, they'll actually lift you in the air and then they disappear. But if there isn't a glowy spot like right here and you fall in, you're dead. There's also rifts in the storm right there. Those will teleport you into the zone. I can hear this guy charging up ice. You hear that sound? That like twinkly sound? That's him holding his bow down. So I know he's trying to snipe me. He's right there. Can see you glowing. I can see ya. So you want to listen for that sound, because you definitely don't want to get sniped in the back. Come here. It's fast. Alacrity trails. Frost is my personal favorite class because just so much mobility. Look how fast he is. Come back here. So you can actually go just as fast as they can on the trails, but what's different between Frostborns and non-Frostborns is the Frostborns accelerate a lot faster. So they can like jump up and down on the trails and keep that max speed. Whereas if you don't have that acceleration, you gotta build up your speed again. Ooh, that was kind of a nice shot right there. But yeah, that's Pyromancer. Little Dragonfire build. Again, if you're struggling to hit people in the air, you can switch out for Frost or Ice as your offhand. But pretty good build to start off with if you want to learn a lot about the game. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Twitch stream down in the description below. And if you're buying anything out of the Spellbreak store, be sure to use my code APOSTLE. I would appreciate if you guys do that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.